So how do you do this with assets under management? We help you get the most out of what you've got. And this is kind of the done for you solution. This is, as long as you show up for your annual meeting, I mean, it's obviously a bunch of work up front the first year, but after that, just show up for your annual review with me and maybe, or me and more likely the team, and then with the money managers. This is kind of like putting success on automatic, and I genuinely believe that, because even we're so proactive. You know, sure, we have people that come up with ideas, but we have a lot of people that don't come up with ideas, and we come up with the ideas. Oh, by the way, I see your will has $100,000, the XYZ charity. We think that instead it should go from your IRA. We'll take care of the paperwork to do that. Oh, great, good. We just saved $24,000. We are proactive, and that is a good way to do it. Again, minimum of $1 million. For people who are not interested in assets under management, we do what we call a financial master plan. We will likely not have that available. We often spend $15,000, $20,000 worth of time for a $12,500 job. At the moment, which I don't anticipate will last long, we have a little bit of extra manpower to do this because I hired aggressively, knowing the boom that we're going to have in January. So we are taking some. They start at $12,500 for one person who was basically a $20 million guy. The fee was $20,000, which it's going to sound self-serving, but I think that was the bargain of the year for him, which includes an entire financial master plan, looking at having our estate attorney go into the documents in detail, conferences with the other local estate attorney, et cetera, et cetera. So if you are interested in taking advantage of this retire secure consultation for either assets under management or for the one-time, let's call it fee for service, or for, let's say you're a Pennsylvania resident, you just want us to draft your documents, if you could click on, Brian, I will ask you to put a link for people to click on to sign up for that consultation. I would appreciate it. And again, I'm not going to take it on unless I think I can provide a ton of value. You know, life is too short. I like to work with nice people. I like to save a lot of money, whether it be for charity or for family members or to reduce taxes. And I love what I do, and I want to keep doing it for a long time. And if you're a really difficult person, or I don't think that I can save you a lot of money in taxes, I'm probably not going to take you on as a client anyway. We've done thousands of consultations over the years. Obviously, a lot of those people did not become clients either because I didn't want them or because they chose not to hire us. But never has anybody said or even implied that it wasn't worth their time, including people who in the old pre-COVID days, we had people flying in from all over the country, driving in from, 4 states away, et cetera, et cetera. And even they said that it was worth the time. So now we do them on Zoom. Occasionally we do them in person, but now it's mainly Zoom. See if you're a good candidate to work with us, and we might end up saving you a ton of money. You're going to come up with an actionable plan. I mentioned earlier that at the end of the meeting, I typically will do a memo of what we talked about, and including some of my prime recommendations that goes to you, whether you're going to do business with us or not. And if you are, then it also goes to the money manager, the estate attorney, and the number cruncher. And then we work as a team to work with you to get the most out of what you've got. And the way you would do that for either assets under management or legal, or for the one-time fee of $12,500 or more, you would click on that consultation button and fill that out. I did promise some bonuses, and we have 2 bonuses that I think are the best bonuses that we've done. One, even though it's 2 years old, it's still, by the way, I believe in the top 20 of the top tax books, which was basically about the Secure Act, called the IRA and Retirement Plan Owner's Guide to Beating the New Death Tax. And you can sign up and get the hard copy of that book for free. And then the bigger one is the Retire Secure for Professors. And that book, that's the best book I've ever written. Partly because I took the best of all the books that I've done. That was the starting point. I spent a ton of time. We hired a CPA CPA writer, not attorney, to update a lot of the information. We had one of our number crunching CPAs. We actually got one of our estate attorneys. So we have put in a ton of work. Ultimately, we will repurpose this book for other groups, but the first one coming out, which should come out later in January, is Retire Secure for Professors. You can just ignore the couple chapters on TIAA, because that might not be appropriate. Great table of contents, so you can go right to the issue that you're looking at. Again, for those of you who have read some of my stuff before, whether it's articles or books, this is the best I have done. Everybody, frankly, should be signing up for that. Again, we'll send you the digital version soon, and then the hard copy version after that is available, which is probably going to be, let's call it mid to late January. So I believe, oh, you know something? I think, Erica, are you going to yell at me if I can take one or two questions? She said no last time, by the way. She was the meanie, not me.
You may take some more questions. And also, first, I just want to make sure that everyone who has not yet taken advantage of the bonuses knows that there's a link for the bonuses in the chat right now. Brian also just dropped a link. People can register for the Q&A, which is coming up at 4. And right above those two is the offer for people who are interested either in working with us for assets under management to develop a financial master plan, or if you are interested, if you're a PA resident and you're interested in having us review and potentially redraft or update your estate plan, you would click the link for the Retire Secure consultation. And actually, to that end, Jim, one question I'd like, and maybe this is something that was already worked out when you were explaining our services, but Karen asked, once you pay for the initial consultation, does Jim charge for the annual review? So could you kind of just review a little bit of what we actually charge for?
Well, if you're an assets under management client, the first thing we're going to do is this complete financial master plan. Again, we're going to look at your will, beneficiary designation, et cetera, make recommendations. We're going to run the numbers and make recommendations on how much of a Roth conversion you should make, whether it makes sense to do gifts, whether it makes sense to change who gets what. And we're going to be very, very proactive. And that actually takes us a lot of time. That really does take us, probably $20,000 worth of time. And if you're only having $1 million managed, you're getting in effect a $12,000, $15,000 value and having the money managed. All right, so the first year is the big year. But then every year we are going to do a review for that. And the way we get paid is you're paying the money manager, and the money manager is paying us a certain portion of what you are paying them. So we get paid on a regular basis. That's for an assets under management approach. Now, if your question, if you pay the one-time fee of $12,500 or $15,000 or whatever it is, does that include an annual review? The answer is no. That's a one-time fee. That's a pure fee for service. Now, what happens in the real world is people tend to be very happy with that service, and then they come back to us for an update. They don't do it every year, but every couple of years. So, but we charge them typically an hourly rate. Let's say when they come back. I'm not going to promise that that service is going to be available indefinitely, because very frankly, we do better both financially and the way we like to do business is working with people on a regular basis. And we think that the continuity of working with the same people year after year it's more satisfying. It's certainly more satisfying for me. And I think it's also more satisfying for the CPAs and estate attorneys and the financial advisors that you would be working with.
Yeah. So Jim, you, I believe, answered the question that I think you thought that this person was asking. And I think that you've clarified a lot, but I would like to clarify a little bit further. So she said, once you pay for the initial consultation, and Karen, and I just want to clarify, no one pays for the initial consultation. The thing that people pay for the one-time fee for service is the master plan development. And that's what Jim was saying, that if you would like to have a review of your master plan, your what fee for service master plan that we create into 2023, 4 years later, there would be an additional charge for that. But for our asset under management clients, that's part of the services that we provide, right, Jim?
Yeah, that's right. At this point, we're not charging for an initial consultation.
Right. And actually, we have a few more questions regarding our services that have come up. So Brian, if you could also put a link to the initial consultation form in the chat as we're going over this. Dale said, as a Texas resident, we understand that your firm can't draft estate documents. Does your fee include reviewing documents drawn up by a Texas attorney according to your recommendations?
Sure it does. I can't, if you asked me to do a retirement plan and I couldn't look at your wills and trusts and beneficiaries of IRAs, that's like asking a baseball player to play with his hands tied behind his back. I can't do the job that I genuinely want to do unless I see the documents. And I hate to say it, but most of the time I'm not happy with the documents. So sometimes it's maybe a small fix, in which case obviously be easier and better for everybody if we could use the existing estate attorney and we might say, hey, you maybe just change this or change that, or, here's some language that might work in this situation. Sometimes it's so bad that we say, hey, something, the fact that this went out under their name, I don't have a great feeling about working with this firm. And you might be better off trying to find somebody else. And what we have tried to do over the years is to develop relationships with estate attorneys in the different states. Off the top of my head, I think we do actually know somebody in Houston that we like. Now, to be honest, if we liked your estate attorney, it'd be easier for everybody if we just kept it with them. But let's just say that it was just too far gone. And they had things in there that we just not only couldn't live with, but just we lost trust in the ability of the estate attorney to get it right. Not just because it was dated, but because, for example, if we see an old AB trust that was drafted in the last 10 years, I have a hard time living with that because it's just such a bad idea in most cases. But does that include us looking at it? I would say that sometimes is more valuable than our Roth strategies, our investment strategies, et cetera, et cetera. So I know that we get a lot of clients because a lot of smart people instinctively know that their estate attorney was not on top of it, is not proactive, doesn't have the background that we do, and they know that the documents are wrong, and they care about the possibility that their kids are going to do one heck of a lot better if we get this right than if we get it wrong. And they also know that if they stay with us as assets under management clients, that we're going to be there after somebody dies to make recommendations to the executor or the trustee or somebody else to provide that continuity of service. And sometimes it might take us 10 minutes, but that might save tens or hundreds of thousands of dollars. Or sometimes we see people do the wrong name. Like you die with an IRA and you leave it to your child, and the child's advisor puts on the form, let's say Joe Schmo dies, and the advisor puts, Bill Schmo, IRA of Bill Schmo, or Joe Schmo Jr. Well, that's a violation of the rules. You have this massive income tax acceleration. It should be inherited IRA of Joe Schmo for the benefit of Joe Schmo Jr. Again, that doesn't take long, but it can be a huge difference. And that's why we always look at that. I just was reviewing an estate plan was by a big firm, and it had directions. We fill out the forms ourselves, but it had directions on how people should fill out the form for the IRA. And it said that you should consult with your CPA. Well, they just hired the estate attorney to do the documents, and the estate attorney's default is you do it on your own and go talk to your CPA about how to fill out this legal form. So we just find it's much more easier, well, maybe not easier, but it really provides value if we actually look at it ourselves and make recommendations, whether it's Texas or any other state. The only thing I don't want to mess with is Louisiana. Again, because they use the Napoleonic Code, and I just don't know that stuff. One more?
It's ironic. You didn't say the only thing I don't want to mess with is Texas, right?
No, Texas is fine,
No, but isn't that like a motto there? Yes, we do have time for one more question. And then right after you answer the last question, we have an important video, and then we'll be setting up for the Q&A, where we will be importing all of the unanswered questions from this session and last session. So, and taking new questions in the live room. So that'll be really exciting, and definitely don't want to miss that. So the last question of the day is there a certain age, like 59 and a half, that Roth conversion should be done? Is there a sequence for which accounts should be converted, like taxable accounts followed by traditional IRA followed by 401k/profit sharing accounts? And that's from Kat.
Well, Pat, I mean, one of the things that we do is we like to come up with, in effect, custom answers. Now, does that mean that there isn't commonality that might be a reasonable starting point? And I think there is. So you mentioned Roth IRAs. Well, our starting point for Roth IRA conversions is the years after retirement and before minimum required distribution. That might be a starting point. But if somebody is younger, we might want to do Roth conversions because the time of the tax-free growth in the Roth might be so substantial. Or if somebody is, for example, in already taking minimum required distributions, but we do projections, and sometimes I can do them off the top of my head. With a multi-million-dollar IRA, sometimes the minimum required distributions of the IRAs become just ridiculously high, and it makes a lot of sense to do Roth conversions of that money, even if it pushes them into a higher tax bracket for Medicare Part B for a couple of years. So I would say there's a combination of general principles and applications to specific situations. Very frankly, it's not like we kind of start with a blank spreadsheet when we're starting, because we just know off the top of our head when it might be good to look at big conversions, when we shouldn't look at conversions at all, whether we should look at conversions in the future and things like that. So it's part art, part science, and the software hasn't been invented yet. It might at some point. To be honest, I've been a little bit interested in it, where you just put in all the variables and hit maximize, and out comes the answer. We're nowhere near that point, or at least not that I know of. So I would say it's a combination of general principles and running the numbers. But even the general principles, we like to run the numbers to prove. And again, I've always said that a lot of this is just a matter of math. You can change the assumptions, but math is math. We like to go for the mathematical solutions that satisfies what the family wants to do and also cuts taxes. So I hope I have answered a lot of your questions. I hope the people who would be a good fit for us to do business do actually fill out the form to have a consultation with me. And I think I mentioned that typically is with one of our number crunchers if I think that you are a serious candidate. I love doing this. And I believe that we are at our basically at our ending point. Okay, so one of the few times I didn't go over.
Yeah.
Okay. So we're going to end right on time, but I hope to see everybody on the Q&A, and we will take new questions, and we will take some of the older questions that we didn't get a chance to get to. So thank you very much.
Allow me to ask you some important questions. Is the majority of your wealth in an IRA or retirement plan? Do you want to protect yourself and your family from massive income tax acceleration? Are you at least slightly concerned that the new administration is going to raise your taxes? Are you willing to take action and defend yourself from government confiscation of your hard-earned money? If you answered yes, this short video could be the most important thing you have ever watched. Imagine you could wave a magic wand and have a rock-solid financial master plan that has all of your financial affairs in order, including updated wills, trusts, and IRA beneficiary designations. Think about how you would feel if you never had to worry about money, because you had rock-solid data that allowed you to make informed financial decisions, not guesses. How much better would you sleep at night knowing that your new financial master plan will be completely implemented in 3 to 6 months from now? I'm going to share with you how you can make that happen. But first, let's talk about the possible impact this administration could have on your finances. Thus far, President Biden has kept his promise not to increase income taxes for people earning less than $400,000 per year. But raising income tax rates isn't the only way to raise taxes. Jim Lange predicted the death of the stretch IRA and advocated defenses against it more than 6 years ago. Now Jim predicts 1. Higher capital gains tax rates. 2. Changes to federal tax exemptions. 3. Elimination of step-up in basis rules. 4. Tax raises in the future that are already part of today's law with the sunset provisions. And 5. Estate tax increases. Congress pulled a bait and switch on you, and it's just plain wrong. You were promised that contributions to your IRA and retirement plans would pass to your heirs with significant tax advantages. Remember the stretch IRA? Because you're fiscally responsible, you acted on that promise. You sacrificed and did without so you could put as much money as you could into your retirement plans. Now, late in the game, Congress has pulled the rug out from under you by passing the Secure Act. The consequence of Congress's actions with the Secure Act? A massive income tax acceleration on money you thought was protected. But there is a way for you to fight back and protect your wealth from the Congress's greedy hands. We can offer you the means and the tools to pull back some of that money. There is no one strategy that will solve all of these problems. Of the multiple strategies, Jim and his team will help you find the right ones for you and your family. Here are just a few of the strategies in Jim's arsenal. A series of timely Roth IRA conversions to be executed over a number of years. Social Security optimization. Spending the right money first. Low-cost index fund investing. Appropriate asset location. The right type of trusts for your particular situation. Flexible estate plans. Leveraging gifts to children and grandchildren. Charitable remainder trusts as the beneficiary of your IRA and other retirement plans. And our tax-savvy analysis of who gets what. When you meet with Jim, he may propose implementing the superbly flexible Lange's Cascading Beneficiary Plan. Its flexibility, 1. Protects your spouse. 2. Allows for the possibility of directing money to your children after the first death. And 3. Allows for the possibility of directing money to your grandchildren with parents as trustees. These options are not available with traditional planning. Lange's Cascading Beneficiary Plan is really an estate planning system that should be considered for virtually all of your assets. It works for wills and revocable trusts, IRAs and retirement plans, Roth IRAs, and Lange's cascading beneficiary plan is only one tool in Jim's arsenal. So, if you are seriously interested in placing at least $1 million of your investable assets under management with Jim and his team, the first step toward peace of mind and a good night's sleep is to schedule a Retire Secure consultation with Jim Lange. During your 1-hour private Zoom consultation with Jim, you'll discover how to cut your taxes and preserve your wealth. Jim will answer all your questions and concerns, and likely suggest 2 or more tax-reducing strategies you hadn't thought about. Jim takes a multidisciplinary approach to securing your retirement. He accounts for taxes, legal, and investments. Jim has given thousands of consultations over the years, and has never had anyone say or even imply that it wasn't worth their time. Why? Because Jim delivers real-world value and not a sales pitch. At the end of your Retire Secure consultation, you will have the outline for a concrete plan of action to maximize your retirement prosperity and generational wealth. Then you will have 2 options. 1, you will thank Jim for his time and valuable recommendations and most likely end up doing nothing. Or 2, you'll decide that you want your family to benefit from the comprehensive combined services that Jim and his team provide to their assets under management clients. And when you select option 2, Jim and his team will run full retirement and estate planning projections, producing your personalized financial master plan. Then Jim's team will help you implement the plan and manage at least a portion of your assets. The Personal Financial Master Plan is included for free, and that Personal Financial Master Plan will be updated every year at no additional cost, provided you place a minimum of $1 million in assets under management. A no-obligation Retire Secure consultation with Jim will likely provide you with at least one idea worth 10 or even hundreds of thousands of dollars. You can get it now for free, without obligation. The purpose of the Retire Secure consultation isn't to sell you. It is to determine if you are the right fit to work with Jim and his team. Please note that Jim will not take you on as a client unless he thinks he can save you and your family many times his fee. Jim only has a limited number of slots in his schedule reserved for these free Retire Secure consultations, and there are hundreds of attendees on this virtual event. Since Jim personally conducts each consultation, he will almost certainly not have enough available appointments to fulfill demand. So, if you are seriously interested in reaping the benefits of our combined asset management and long-term financial planning services, act now. Click the offer link and complete the form to secure your free Retire Secure consultation with Jim Lange. Plus, when you schedule your consultation now, you'll also receive a special free gift in the mail, a Retire Secure education kit. Inside, you'll find a wealth of educational material, including books, articles, DVDs, and CDs that we encourage you to review before your consultation, if time permits. To reserve your consultation now, click on the offer link and complete the form. Listen, with the uncertainty in the country, it's natural to be concerned about your financial future. But with proper planning, you can protect yourself and your family from massive taxation, get the most out of what you have, and maximize retirement prosperity and generational wealth. And the first step is simple and free. Click on the offer link and reserve your Retire Secure consultation with Jim Lange. Don't wait and be disappointed. Request your free Retire Secure consultation now by clicking on the offer link.